fish feed. I gotta get all the lyrics to the song. I just tried to look them up online. The fish feed song lyrics are not up, but I promise a remix as soon as they are. We did not get the fish feed battle, but we got fish feed the song. I guess that was the aftermath of the fish feed / the Red Fork last week. But hey, we got a song. I'm always happy when we get a song. It sounded pretty quality. I had to go back and check the lyrics on that one. They're pretty good. They're pretty good. They describe the battle that we didn't see. So there we go. That does save it on the budget. It's like I could see that one. They're sitting in the room. Hey, with all these battles are kind of expensive. What if we made one of them a song? Great idea. Fish feed. Now, we've got lots to talk about. All hail Queen Rhaenyra Targaryen. Iron Throne is hers at last. The rightful queen. Bring me the usurper. Where is he? Where is that dang old usurper? Oh, is he in here? Nope, just us. It's just us. Hey.
Hi, guys. Hi, chat.
It's like the weapons of mass destruction in Iraq, Tim. Are they over here? Are they under here? Where's Aegon?
Crazy. Where's Waldo?
He's off with Laris doing an Abbott and Costello routine, apparently.
Well, Tim, the way that we like to start off the show is by allowing one of my guests to say what emotionally moved you the most. So, Tim, you're in the shadows tonight. Let's bring you out of the shadows. What was it, Aegon and Laris? What moved you the most tonight?
Definitely Aegon and
Laris. No, for me, it's seeing Daemon, all the growth he did in season 2, and now it's like, oh, Daemon, your arrogance will be the death of us all because you are losing friends quickly.
A little shaky on the taking the Red Keep plan. Little sus. Little. I've got some criticisms. There's a little bit of manufactured BS that was going on for drama, but nevertheless, still emotionally impactful. Emma Darcy, just can we? Cruel to allow Emma Darcy to cook with the whole scene with Jace. The whole I'm mad at you, but you're gone, and oh man, that's Nettles. What hit you the most tonight?
No, I was about to say that's a horrible question because it's all going to be the same for us. I mean, maybe not for Tim, but it'll be high up there. Can I speak for you, Tim? I want to speak for Tim. But no, for them to immediately hit us with that, as an actress, that is the kind of acting that you strive for. And I see why they cast her. When I heard the casting for Rhaenyra and I had never heard of Emma Darcy, I was like, oh, she must be some powerhouse actress that's really good at crying. And for an actor, being really good at crying doesn't mean that you can produce tears. It means that you can produce different kinds of tears. And we've seen her cry so many different ways in this show. And no, that was crazy. That was Oscars worthy.
Yeah, that was very intense. And it kind of went on too a little bit. Yeah, that Tim, I'll give it back to you. Nettles just presumed that your cold heart was untouched by that scene.
and Nettles presumed right.
Tim said she got 5 sons. Make them work. Tim said,
brutal.
Next. Bingo, you're next.
There is, I mean, I don't like the fact that nobody's asking about what happened to the younger two, because where are they? Where are they at? Where are the rest of your kids?
Where's Daeron?
At least question what happened to Aegon the Younger and what happened to Viserys.
Yeah. We have some missing characters.
Oh, did I say her acting? My bad. Their acting. Yeah, I'm well aware that Emma uses they them pronouns. I thought that I said it right. I guess I didn't.
I probably said it wrong.
You said actress, which I try to say actor just in general for everyone.
I'm just saying.
Because I've seen that's what people do.
Yeah.
That's why I just refer to them in character, so then we don't have to do this.
That's usually where I
I
get tripped
know.
up, sometimes switching back and forth. But yeah, my
Yeah.
intention is to use the correct pronouns, obviously. So yeah, that's I think we can give Emma the MVP, the acting MVP
Oh
award.
my gosh.
There's not even a poll really.
Yeah. She
But there
probably
was some
killed it
other.
for.
What's
No,
that?
sorry. Go ahead. Go ahead.
I was just saying there were some good performances. Like I said, a little bit of manufactured drama in the sense that like they just landed in the Red Keep and it's just Rhaenyra and Daemon and they're hoping that people will obey them based on the fear of the dragon. Whereas in the in the books they've coordinated with Luther Largen ahead of time, as opposed to it being a sort of they just show up and we're like, oh yeah, we're still loyal to you. But it created more drama and tension. The taking of King's Landing wasn't really like a tense thing. It wasn't a contest. You could see like when Helena and Alicent were trying to talk sense or whatever into the guard, and when you listen to her say it all, it's like, yeah, we're just gonna get roasted on the wall walks here. Like even if you get lucky and hit one of the dragons, you don't have a dragon. So it's just you're just gonna make the other dragons circle the castle and fry everyone. It's not really a
Yeah.
point to that. We saw what Aemond did, reburning some of Harrenhal just in case it wasn't burned all the way. Like that was pretty great. We've seen a clip of that in the preview, but seeing the whole scene of Vagar circling Tim, let me get your thoughts. I know that emotionally moved you. Like the
Yeah,
Harrenhal looked cool as hell, did it not?
All of Damon's renovations completely undone as soon as Vagar crashes in.
That's
Dang.
right. That's right. No, that was sick.
Dang, that's crazy.
I love the way that Harrenhal looked. And obviously the parallel scenes of Aemon taking Harrenhal with little contest and Rhaenyra taking King's Landing with little contest sort of
Yeah.
builds on this idea of the Pyrrhic victory that they start off the episode with, where Corlys is like, a lot of book lines, by the way, tonight. If this be victory, I pray I never see another. Yeah, R.I.P. Simon Strong, the last
Wait,
of
you
the
said
Strongs. Well,
Pyrrhic?
not quite. There's still some Strongs around for Aemon to kill next week, I think.
Dang. You said a word I didn't know. Is it? You said Pyrrhic?
Pyrrhic, yes. It's a Roman general, Pyrrhus, I believe. Is that correct, chat? A Pyrrhic victory is an empty. It's like it costs you so much. You're like, did we even win?
Okay.
That's what we had here. Unless Tim,
Yeah.
is that correct? Is that a Roman general?
Yeah. I mean, some people. I think it's because some people might call it Pyrrhic
Greek.
victory.
He's Greek. Greek general. Pyrrhus of Epirus. All right.
But yeah.
All right,
the,
cool.
the point of it is that
Empty victory.
is the victory worth the amount of all it cost? Because when Pyrrhus wins, he loses so many men in getting it that he may as well have lost. That's why it's called a Pyrrhic victory.
Hey Tim, let me get you get to come a little closer to your mic. You're a little lower than Nettles is, and I want to hear everything you have to say. There you go. That's better. But yeah, they hit it right at the beginning when they're asking Bela and the battle, and she's like, "We won," and she's carrying Jace on her shoulder, I guess the Dragon Keepers were right behind her. So yes, this is kind of the larger theme of the Dance of the Dragons. It's a civil war. No one's really going to win because we've got Westerosi killing Westerosi and Targaryens killing Targaryens. There's no way for anyone to really come out ahead. And this is, true of almost any war, really. That's why George wrote A Feast for Crows. I don't want to climb on my
Yeah.
Feast for Crows soapbox again, but you guys read the book. You know what's in there. Yeah. So
No, yeah. I just want to say that like this episode for me already I'm usually I like to do my ranking at the end like once I get y'all's input. I don't care. I'm giving it a 9.9 and last week with the opener I gave 9.8. So this one is even better. We're getting so close to perfect for me. Like this episode was better than the first episode. And that opening shot of like seeing the dragons from underwater, I've never seen that in cinema or described like that in a book, but like that is such a beautiful point of view, like the way the water was, and then like the decoration of Jace's body, you know, like it's It's crazy. I'm like, I never knew I wanted that so bad. It was beautifully done and captured. Because we've already seen the smoky and like, oh, look at the destruction and like burned flesh, but this is from like the water. So it looks like it's from the point of view of a kraken. Them krakens are coming to play. Let them shoot one out the water and eat something.
Hey, these sounded like you just made a theory.
They're not good enough to do that. Stop.
That was the patch
That's a
face.
Nettles
That was patch
original.
face cam.
That's a
Mermaid
Nettles
cam.
original.
That was the Valarion mermaids waiting for Jace. Like, hey, we're going to receive you to the
Who's
watery
watching
halls.
in HD? Like,
It was a beautiful scene. There's no doubt that it was stunning. And the dragon flying by and the fire, but through the murkiness of the water. Yeah, that was crazy.
But
Just
yeah,
real quick, we got a couple super chats that went by. And by the way, just thank you for the super chats. Occasionally, I might let them go, and then we'll come back and catch up to a few at a time. I've seen other people wait until the end of the stream to check any of their super chats, so we'll try to do it a little more often than that. But if yours feels like it's gotten missed, then let me know. People saying 10 out of 10 are just wrong. Well, it's subjective, it's subjective. Where is
yeah.
Joffrey, Aegon, and Viserys? They cut yet another major battle. Great episode, but not 10 out of 10. Well, like I always say, there's criticisms of the show that you're making based on like just the changes or, how it stands on its own. And those are sort of two different, standards to judge it by. Aegon and Viserys thing, like we talked about that last week some. I don't know if I want to go back for that. And I just to correct a couple mistakes though. It wasn't the Isle of Faces, you guys. It was on the shoreline of the God's Eye. I thought it was the Isle of Faces. So did a lot of people. If you look at the one shot, you can see that actually it connects back there. So the Green Man, instead of the question of how did Alice get to the Isle of Faces, where now it's like, oh, can the Green Men come and go from the Isle of Faces to the lakeshore, just like they did at Harrenhal? Similar idea, but we have not officially seen the Isle of Faces is the important thing. And then the other thing is at the beginning of last week's episode, the sheep was tied up. So Rhaena she did catch a sheep and she did stake it out for Sheep Stealer. And that's why she was there as soon as Sheep Stealer roasted the sheep. I missed that also. So just to set the record straight there. And let me just real quick, we'll clear our super chats. Super chat goal. We don't need to gamify everything, guys. I just want this.
Have you seen the memes of the Green Man as Mr. Tumnus? I believe what's his name, Mr. Tumnus from The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe.
No, that's awesome though. I made the Bigfoot one, but
No, like someone posted a picture of them side by side. It's the same coloring and even like posture how they stand.
nice.
It's like, come on.
No, I've actually.
Go ahead, Tim.
I've actually been sticking true to my word of what I said last week and avoiding Twitter, so I have not seen all. So, downside of that means I'm missing all the memes.
Missing all the memes, yeah. I'm gonna show mine off again. Shout out to the one true Lady Nettles. Praise Garth. The more I've seen of Rhaena with Sheep Stealer, the more I enjoy it. There's a lot of good potential avenues they could take the story, like Damon's eventual betrayal. Sorry, I try not to read spoilery things in the chat. But yes,
It's just a guess.
That I haven't seen anyone comment on the fact that Miguel Sapochnik is back as an executive producer. I didn't know that. I don't really think too deeply about the people working on the show, honestly. I just judge the product. The throne did not cut our queen. I repeat, the throne did not touch our queen. Well,
Not yet.
we've got time still, first of all. And they did a bunch of other stuff. So I want to talk about that whole scene in detail. I have thoughts.
Well, it's
Probably
just
basic,
because
but that shot of Rhaenyra ascending the blood in the reflection was rad as hell. And so was the post fish feed hoedown. Yeah, if you remember at the end of the botched wedding, we saw the rat drinking from the blood in the puddle. To me, it seemed like an echo of that scene. So that was cool. Daemon and his thin gold line. Oh, right. The thin blue line. Yeah. We don't cross the gold line. Yeah, I guess not. Let's see here. That was definitely a fake Daron. Yeah, it was a fake Daron. In the next episode. They wouldn't introduce him like that for the first time. He was definitely the dyed redhead last episode. Oh, we've got a controversy. I was just assuming that they faked us out last week and the redhead wasn't Daron because we saw a silver-haired person when they were on. I don't know if you guys watched on the preview for next week. They show a silverhead kid, and they're talking about Daron, and Rhaenyra's like, he's a dragon rider, or something like that. They're discussing what to do about him in King's Landing.
I did hear that theory that the kid that we saw last week may have been Daron with dyed hair, and then the whole point of them making a whole point of saying make sure he gets a bath, that he's going to wash the dye out. I mean, because that would be a great nod to the books. That would be a Fagon nod.
I was about to say.
Yeah, Fagon with his blue hair when we meet him as young Griff, but this is washing out red hair dye.
My name is Daron, and I'm wearing red hair. Okay. Well, they could be playing with something about him, like, denying his Targaryen-ness to some extent because he's a Hightower or something, and that's why I dyed his hair. I don't know. Maybe it's just a safety. I don't see how he could be in disguise, though, because they have Tessarion with them, so it's not...
That's what I had the same thought. I'm like, well, what's the point, though, when he's riding a dragon? It's like, that's not really incognito, Daron.
My dragon's Tessarion. Okay. What do we think of the significance of Helena saying it was the wrong time for the caterpillar in her first scene when Alicent goes to talk to her? Oh, we're going meta real quick.
Real quick.
Maybe just to add a sense of wrongness to everything else and to remind us that Helena loves bugs. I don't know. I didn't like the chickens line at the end. Like, Helena's just been, like, kind of perceptive about what's going on, and then it's like, oh, I want to raise chickens. So I was like, okay. It's a little strange. But she likes animals, I guess, except for Dreamfire, because we don't see Dreamfire. Yeah. Oh my God, can we please dig into Alicent and Helena in the throne room? Yeah, we definitely will. And thank you. Rhea was yelling at Jace, answer me. Yeah, that whole scene was just... I mean, that's a tough thing to do, to act, and a lot of times those sorts of scenes in movies are short. You have somebody yelling and pounding, no, and that was a whole thing there, the whole performance. Matt Smith speaking in Valyrian. There was a couple of hot scenes. So, okay, Matt Smith speaking in Valyrian to Rhaenyra. Daemon, if we're going to refer to, we're just, this is why I get in trouble. People just swapping in the actors and the names of the characters in the same sentence. But yes, we'll talk about the prince that was promised follow-up. But also, they gave us Aemond crawling to Alice Rivers. Like, I know there's already Tumblr memes happening. Like, that was some light bondage core there. Matt Smith speaking. Okay, I just read that. I'm sorry. Otto's death. 2 strikes. So let's start there. Let's rate Rhaenyra's beheading job. It was better than Theon. The first strike was very bad, and the second strike was kind of perfect. So I give her like a B-, C+. Tim, what are you throwing out there?
Yeah, I'm giving a C. Because Otto even had that dig at her too when she said, well, let Daemon do it. At least then I won't be hacked. Like, implying that Daemon's going to do it quick and clean. So for her to flub up the first one and for her to take the second hit, it's like we're getting echoes of her dad, right? When he didn't get the heart right away when they were killing that stag at the hunt. So, and then of course there's last week where she's having that whole, I have the weak body of a woman, but the heart of a king. But then she's crying while she has to lay down the law. And it's like,
yeah,
see, this is why nobody respects the WNBA. This right here.
Tim, I thought that they laid it on a little thick with that, with just making her be very shaky and hesitant. Personally, I thought they just took it a little too far.
I do agree that they took it too far, but I liked it. I give her beheading a 10. I really liked it because I think it's really unrealistic. What sword did she have?
Well, she used Dark Sister.
Okay. So then still should be okay, but I'm just saying it's really hard to get it on your first try. The first time you've probably had to do this. I don't know. So it's like I've been watching videos online of people like taking a hammer and putting in the nail and just trying to just hit the nail once more and people can't do it. Like it's really hard. It's really precise. Um, but she messed up on that first try and she cleaned it up on that second one. That second one was a beaut. And I think it's symbolic of maybe like her reign. Like, yeah, Rhaenyra messed up this first half, but the second half, she's gonna sweep. She's gonna sweep.
I didn't mind hearing Otto in pain for a minute.
No, see, now you gotta go. Now you gotta go.
Yeah, two things about the WNBA. One, a lot of people like it. And two, that is a violent blood sport, okay? They do not call fouls in the NBA. It is violent as hell. If you are used to watching NBA and you turn on a WNBA game, you're just like, she just clotheslined her. Like, it's insane. But yeah, should we do a death of the week? What do we have? We had Otto's death, Jasper Wilde, who we need to talk about. Yeah, Elizabeth the First. Yes, that's been, many people have noticed that one. Yes, thank you, Gustavo. Yeah, so Jasper Wilde, Otto. Who else died? Oh, Simon Strong. Simon Strong's kids.
Oh, and his sons. But his last son got his. Come on, Strong. The Strong's revenge. You killed us. You've killed us. Like the Strong's revenge. No, they got him. And that's great. It's an excuse for Aemon to sit out for a while, that wound. Because we were all thinking, like, the war's going on. Where are you, Aemon?
Mm-hmm.
But now
and
we see.
And we were all thinking, too, like, based on Alice Rivers' actions from the last season, how is things going to go down with Aemon? Well, now we see. She was not doing all of this out of the kindness of her heart. There was an ulterior motive. She wants Harrenhal, and Daemon is not giving it to her because he tells her, you lack a name, you lack a lineage, you lack a named husband to make up for that. But it's like, well, the world just gave me a second chance by sending me a second Targaryen.
Okay, so I do want to do a death poll, but let's talk about that. We have a motive for Alice Rivers at long last. But just real quick, help me count up the deaths. It's Otto, Jasper Wilde, Wylde, Maynard Plum. Who else died?
Just a lot of nameless mooks, to be real.
And I guess Simon Strong. I guess those are the three. Yeah.
Strong fam.
So yeah, there you go, Maynard Plum. Simon Strong, Otto Hightower, and Jasper Wilde. I feel like
we're missing one for some reason.
We saw Jason Lannister's head again.
Well, Jace died last week, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the Kingsguard is going to get killed. He gets to choose how he dies, but we haven't. The Queensguard, rather, but we haven't seen how. Yeah, Nana burned a bunch of extras and CGI people. Absolutely. I love the Vagar scene was probably my favorite. Sure.
This whole episode, it was so good. This is what I've been asking for, and they gave it to me in episode 1, is that they filled the episode with like no boring scenes. Every scene was a hit. It was important. It got the plot moving. And then we saw like wide jumps, like starting it with Rhaenyra in bed and ending it with her on the throne. Whoa. They put a lot of exposition into it, and I loved it. Not moving too fast, not moving too slow, just perfect.
Well, it did have that fake episode 10 energy where we're getting the fallout from last week's battle and some like arc circling where Aemon's to Harrenhal and Rhaenyra's to King's Landing, and setting us on course for what comes next. So, of course, these last two episodes were supposed to be 9 and 10 from last season, but then the worldwide edict that all seasons shall be 8 episodes only went out, and so. Let's go back to Alice Rivers. Tim, you brought that up. That's a good scene to get into. So we've got a little bit of, again, a motive for Alice Rivers at long last. She wanted Harrenhal, so what? So she could take care of the small folk and the local people, essentially, and just be a peaceful ruler of the Riverlands?
She's probably the next in line. Like if it wasn't for not being born under wedlock, that maybe she really is the next one. Because isn't Simon like a brother? Like, I don't know. But
Simon
Simon,
was
isn't Simon like a
Simon.
cousin?
Tim knows.
He was. Yeah, he was Lionel Strong, so Laris and Harwin's father. He was their uncle. So
See,
because technically, because the thing is, on paper, right? On paper, Laris Strong, the clubfoot, is the Lord of Harrenhal, but he's spending all his time at King's Landing as Master of Whispers. That's why Simon is the Castellan, and that's why everyone is using Harrenhal as a bargaining chip, like we saw in the second season when Jace was getting allies. The Freys wanted it, and it seems like he might have promised it to the Freys. So that's what, and Alice brings up that point. Harrenhal, and it's something we see with Harrenhal all the time. Harrenhal is constantly used as a bargaining chip. That's why so many families have held on to it, and none of them have ever been able to restore it to any kind of like high point. It's never going to be brought back to its former glory because it makes you house poor. But anyway, but still, the point is Alice wants it. I don't know what her reasoning is. Maybe it's like what Dave said. Maybe she wants it to make it like a safe haven for the small folk around that area. Maybe she could dress it up like that, but she definitely wants it. And she says like nobody, and she basically says, I've seen it handed over time and time again, which is probably another nod to her being older than, possibly being very, very old. Because like,
True.
Well, how would you know that?
Wait, how many times? Yeah.
Like, wouldn't you have only known that when your family came to possession? Like, but anyway, but also it's like, yeah, it's nobody truly appreciates it. I, as the glorious witch woman that I am, I truly appreciate the haunted castle, so I deserve it.
Yeah. At first, I was like, Damon, I'm like, you're wrong for that. Like, give her the castle. Like, how dare you say she needs a husband? She needs this. She needs that. She's the best person for the job, and we're fighting a war to put a woman in power. So it's like Damon, come on, and compare her. Like Damon hasn't even talked to anyone else there. Like who else are you gonna give it to? But then I think about Simon. I'm like, Simon's pretty cool. It'd be hard to like betray him.
Yeah, I mean, because for Damon may look at what Jace did and before and be like, well, maybe the Freys should have it. There's a lot of them, and they own the twins. Like Damon is looking at it at the point of like, I have to give this to a lord. I have to give this to somebody who can provide me with men, right? Alice has no armies to provide, and that is that's the point. Like you don't have you have nothing to offer, even though it's like, Damon, I kind of offered you like the greatest thing ever with giving you this prophecy.
Yes, and I want to get back to the prophecy as well. But yeah, it seems like Alice Rivers, she's maybe a green seer or a green dreamer like Jojen. She's obviously simpatico with the agenda of the old gods and stuff like that. So yeah, she wants Harrenhal, I think, because it's kind of like it was built on the God's Eye to begin with, and it has been this source of violence and instability. So she wants to take it as a toehold, and yeah, probably care for some of the small folk. And what's interesting is like Damon's like, oh, you need a husband, and then by the end of the episode, we have Aemond like crawling towards her on hands and knees. It's like, what's going on here? But well, yeah, Hope Elope with a super chat just a minute ago. So Otto was in the black cells the whole time. Turns out, yes. And Laurie's stuck him in there as a gift for Damon, so that if Laurie's wants to, he can try to come back and be like, oh, I was on your side the whole time, which he's not.
Hilarious. I'm playing both sides. That way I always come out on top.
That's crazy.
That's exactly what happened. And so that was pretty awesome. Like you knew what he was going for once he went down the dark hallways. Like, oh, that's going to be Otto, isn't it? But I loved how the camera cut to a pitch black Otto's point of view. You hear the heavy breathing, and then you see the torch coming down the hallway. It really made you think like Otto's been down there a couple weeks, having barely any food. You know how it is in the black cells. I don't need to describe it. You don't even get a bucket, just a corner. You know what I mean?
And that's like the great thing too, because people are pointing out, like, you mean to tell me that Otto's been down there this whole time, and Alicent and Aegon and Aemon didn't know about
They
it?
didn't.
And the answer is yes, exactly. Because that's how little tabs they're keeping on what's really going on. That's how much blind trust that they put into Larry Strong, that nobody's actually checking to see what he's actually doing down in the basement.
I'm sorry, the super chat just sent me. Yeah, that's exactly right, Tim. Exactly. You can keep people in the black cells, if you're the jailer. So he was tucked way back in there, and you saw the guy that popped out as a gift from Lord Laris. Like, he was very Rugen coded,
That was crazy.
Nuke Fandango says, "What if Aemond awkwardly kissed Lord Strong? Be happy with the awkward kisses that you get. Don't ask for trouble. You may get it." So Otto Hightower is the winner. Simon Strong with a respectable 20%. Yeah. So slight change from the books. He makes Lord Strong fight him in a duel in the books. This was believable, him basically just refusing. But once he put his hands on Aemond, you were like, oh, that's bad. That's not good.
Yeah. It's so funny too when Simon and his two sons are sitting there, and then in comes Aemond looking like Temu Damon, and you can see the look on Simon's face, like, I have the weirdest sense of deja vu. I feel like I've been here before.
Yeah, Aemond is he doesn't like to dither, if he feels any confusion or any sort of like thing that he doesn't like, his answer is just to kill it. And so let me grab this super chat. It's on topic. Alice potentially leads to the ghost of High Heart. Maybe she and Aemond. Okay, well, so you're getting into book spoilers there that I can't talk about. But obviously, if we're looking for where the ghost of High Heart came from, she seems to be part child of the forest. So the logical connection to make is to Leaf. But we know Leaf wore a glamour when she was walking in the world of men for the last couple hundred years. So Alice Rivers is Leaf is definitely a theory that's out there. Leaf is Nettles is out there. So, kind of, that's in play. I personally think that the Ghost of High Heart is the love child of Leaf and Bloodraven. And I made a video about this a few months ago. I think that's where the evidence points. Bloodraven seems like the type, right? Nettles, have you watched that video of mine? I make a lot of videos. One? It's okay. It's the one about the Ghost of High Heart being Bloodraven and Leaf's love child.
Yes.
Okay. That's true. It feels right.
Or I know that your theory on that.
Well, that's the theory. There's just supporting evidence. It's a short video.
I put out my history of Harrenhal, where I proposed the theory that Melisandre is a love child of Bloodraven and Danelle Lothston. So that would mean possibly a few love children left behind by Bloodraven. I guess like father, like son in that sense.
Yeah. Yeah, I like that theory, Tim. You can find that, of course, on Grey Waste Tim's YouTube channel, which you can find by clicking on his name in the description. And the same goes for Girl Nettles right there. Yeah. Who will host some crazy-ass live streams with lots of drinking and contests and debates and things. Subscribe to Girl Nettles.
Yeah. Check out my channel. It's like college, Westeros College.
So I don't think I want to say any more about the you're right, it is Westeros College, and it's not just the classroom, it's like the fraternity games aspect of it as well, and it's like debate class and the frat party kind of combined into one.
It's the Citadel, Will and Tankard.
Yep.
Fish feed. Okay, so let's table the Alice discussion, because it's just very book spoiler laden, and we need to continue to see. But all of us are we're waiting to see any clues about her agenda and how her interactions with Aemond are going to go versus what we saw last week. So connected to that is the idea that Daemon, whispering in High Valyrian, reminded Rhaenyra about the prince that was promised. We haven't heard her talk about that in a while. She's now approaching this war mainly from a tactical thing, and also 2 of my kids are dead type of thing. And Daemon is saying, hey, I saw it. I saw something. He said a girl in a desert. So very cool. Obviously referring to Dany in the Red Waste. They didn't go the route of like Damon thinks that it's Rhaenyra, that the vision of Dany is actually Rhaenyra. Like, that wasn't a thing. But he basically is saying, well, what if it's true? What would you do if it's true? Sort of reminding her of this higher purpose of the throne that she was more mindful of before. So that was a cool scene. What did you guys think? Nettles, you go ahead and go first. And then we'll catch up on these super chats after this.
No, it was great. I like how he tried different tactics to get her up. Like he tried like, come on, woman up, you can do it. Like, gotta continue.
You're going to
And
let him
he
die
was
in
like,
vain.
yeah, tried all that, and then the only thing that worked was the prophecy. So I like that they didn't just give us that instant gratification of him immediately going to what about Prince of the Promise, like contrived. Like, it was a real conversation with the lead up. So I was just like there. I felt like I was in the room. It was so intimate. It was so well done. I really felt like I was a fly on a wall. And then like great writing in there.
Well, so first Damon says Vagar's left King's Landing, and she's kind of like,
Yep.
oh, what? And then he went into the High Valyrian stuff. Tim, go ahead.
Well, so building off what I said before about like Alice giving Damon the dreams at Harrenhal, but then also people playing both sides. Damon in his own way is doing the same too, because Damon gave us that line right of in the earlier seasons, dreams didn't make us kings, dragons did. And that's why, and he can sort of use that sort of attitude, right, to dismiss Alice Rivers as being someone who has nothing of material value to offer him. But at the same time, on the flip side, he's able to use the Aegon's prophecy and these dreams as a way of steering Rhaenyra into the direction that he wants her to go in. So in his own way, Damon's also playing both sides. I'm still wondering how much Damon is buying into this prophecy, or if he's just using it as a means to an end.
Well, I think it gets into, okay, so you're a POV, you're a Targaryen, you accepted that the prince that was promised, prophecy is true. How do you handle it? Different people have handled it different ways. You know, Damon's like, oh, well, that means we need to kill these usurpers quicker and get Rhaenyra on the throne, because that's what the prophecy entails, is that the Targaryens are ruling with lots of dragons and they're ready to face the White Walkers or whatever. So it just comes down to you're having different methods to accomplish a goal. But everybody's on the same page this week with the violence. You know, Rhaenyra wasn't shirking at any of the violence. It was more just like she's just, her son just died, and then they're in King's Landing. It's like she's kind of in shock still. Maybe that's the best way to say it. Like, she's still in shock, and then they get on the dragons and fly to King's Landing, and she's just kind of trying to hold it together. Like I said, a little bit of a manufactured drama to drop only the two of them on foot, and there's these soldiers or whatever. But the overall feel of it, I think, was right. You know, it's just surreal. It's tragic. It's like, oh, we're back here in this bloody throne room again. You know, this is what it took. And she said earlier, you know, oh, you know, two of my sons are dead, so I could sit on his throne of swords. Like, that's kind of the idea. Yes, she's doing it, but fully aware of the sort of tragic nature of it. Yeah.
Huh. How would you guys feel if next episode we see that the way Aemon took Harrenhal didn't actually happen, and it's a vision that Alice gave him?
I'm pretty sure that happened.
Yeah.
Okay.
It really seemed
I know.
Aemon seemed like it was believable, because it seemed like he was running on adrenaline for a moment, but then finally that cut that the last strong gave him finally caught up with him, and it's like, wait, I'm bleeding. Oh God, I'm bleeding. This is deep. This is a deep cut. And it's like, and that's when all this. I was wondering too, like, is Alicent like forcing him down, or is she just kind of like? It seemed more like she was just strengthening the pain, right? And I think it's a mix of both. Like, he's running on adrenaline, but then that adrenaline fades, and then the pain of the actual cut is seeping in. And I think Alice Rivers is just kind of amplifying that, and that's what then literally brings him to his knees.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't even think about that. Alice tampering with that. I just thought it was an adrenaline thing. Yeah, exactly.
We'll see.
So let's
This one's
catch up with
much more juicier than Damon. Like, I want to see them together.
Well, like I
Aemon
said,
and
I feel like the Tumblr artists are out there drawing furiously, like Aemon crawling, only all of a sudden he's not wearing his armor. Oh, how'd he get naked? You know, like
Fingers cramping. Just drawing furiously.
yes, drawing. That's what that was. That was drawing. I liked Alice clearing the dragon seeds for Aemond. Yep, well, we could, she's got some sort of agenda. Aemon definitely feels like a fly in the spider's web. With that, and I think they're portraying that well. This was Rhaenyra's first kill. The first is always the hardest. It gets easier after that. Tudor Girl says. Tudor Girl's, she's chopped a few heads off in her day. That scene worked for me. It's a bit traumatizing, I bet. Yeah, I thought it was cool. We got it. Like I said, the second chop was real clean, better than Theon did. So there. Does Hugh's wife know he's a dragon rider? Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, I think so. We haven't gotten a scene with them together since he's claimed the dragon, but I would assume.
I would love to see it.
Well, she's coming back. Like, we know she's involved. We've seen her in the previews. We think she's going to be at Tumbleton. Oh, no, we know she was sent to Tumbleton. Was that scene after or before he claimed the dragon? That she was sent to Tumbleton?
Before.
Okay.
Before.
Well, that's the last time we've seen her. Nonsense. Ray's beheading of Otto was an A, 9.89 out of 10. He deserved a flaying. Traitor. Okay, right. Okay, so from the standpoint of like, it was just fine if he suffered a little. Traitorous accomplice to the Maestro's conspiracy that he is. It did feel like comeuppance. Like, I mean, I don't personally hate any of the characters. I'm just not, I don't watch a show like that. But like when they brought him out there, it's like, yeah, you've caused a lot of trouble, bro. Like you're looking at his face and you're thinking of all the council meetings, lying to Viserys, undermining Daemon, undermining Rhaenyra, like twisting his daughter. You should wear your mother's dress and all this stuff. Like chop his head off, It
was good. But she did it. She did it. Come on.
Indeed.
Rhaenyra's a good queen. She's never done anything wrong. With
the sword of Visenya, Dark Sister. So, Rhaenyra has a Visenya poster on her wall, as it were.
It's what she would have named her daughter.
Baela was getting cozy with Alan like 11 minutes after Jace. I mean, it's a funny joke. I don't think that's how the scene was meant to be read. I mean, they're grieving family members together.
Red. It was read that way. Sorry. Sorry.
Oh, people were reading it that way with one photo of them together came out during the week. No. And like, his body's not even cold, blah, blah, blah.
There's chemistry.
Alan's all like, and you're betrothed?
Huh?
He's like, and you're betrothed? He's like, are you single?
Yeah, come on.
No.
Yeah. Ignore that I'm your uncle. Ignore that I'm your uncle.
That doesn't matter. They have silver hair. It's okay. It's okay if you have silver hair. No, but Tim, your thoughts on the Velaryon family scene? I thought it was actually a really good scene. I liked seeing them all together. Like they haven't kind of had time to do that. Like it was great. I like to see Adam and Alan, Corlys giving them their name. They're all searching for Corlys together. Like I dug all of that. I felt like that was needed.
Yeah, and I think that's why the way they laid out the scenes, the fact that Corlys, that it comes right after Daemon says what he says to Alice about you not having a name, to then, so it's a juxtaposition, right? Because then we go to Corlys giving Adam and Alan names, because as he says, it's all I can give you now that it's Driftmark, right? Is their sea, right? Driftmark is it Driftmark or High Tide that's burned?
High Tide.
High Tide.
High Tide is
his mountain of gold. They burned his mountain of gold. Like literally.
And we have seen in the rest of the season preview, we've seen one picture or a little clip of Corlys amongst the ruins of his treasures. So we are going to go and check out and see the damage. Oh my goodness.
Was it worth it? No kids. No monies.
Well, that's what he was alluding to when he said, I don't have anything to give you but a name. And Alan's like, it's worth more than a pile of gold, sir.
No wife. Corlys is racking up a lot of debt, almost as much as Rhaenyra. Dead
Yeah,
wife?
Corlys will never
Forget
financially
about
recover.
that.
Would you
My
say, Tim?
money, my ships.
Yeah, well, we know that House Velaryon just over time does eventually have a fall from grace when the Lannisters become the richest house. It used to be them because of Corlys' journey, and but it's like you said, Corlys has been personally bankrolling a lot of this stuff ever since the war in the Stepstones. He's been personally bankrolling some of these endeavors for 20 years, and it's like, yeah, you are never going to financially recover from this. And that's why House Velaryon will eventually fall by the wayside by the time we get to the main series.
Summer is saying that we did see Hugh's wife watch him fly into King's Landing. I must have missed that.
Really? Okay.
So she's not. She hasn't left yet. She's in King's Landing. I thought she was sent to Tumbleton. Why hasn't she left?
Hmm.
It's not safe at King's Landing. You got to get to Tumbleton where it's much safer. All right.
Yeah. So speaking on Hugh, like now we are, because that was another question, was where's Ulf and Hugh's story going to go, and we're starting to see like the seeds of their future being planted because of the way that Daemon is berating them and talking down to them.
I'm sure that'll be fine, Tim. You can tell Hugh Hammer's trying to bear it with good grace. He's like, yes, sir. Yes, sir. And Ulf's just, Ulf is Ulf. He can't keep it straight for even 2 seconds. He's got to.
And
Every
then David,
line.
just stay there. Just wait for my orders. Is that simple enough for you? You don't have to do any thinking. So you see the look on Ulf's face of like, man, as soon as your back is turned.
He just can't. He's got to like. He sees Dave and he's like, "Hey, what's up, Dave? Oh, sorry, man. Like, dude, just STFU for a
Just
second.
stop talking, Ulf. Just stop talking.
Plural. He doesn't. Yeah, he doesn't get it. Plural board. Do you think Alice will tell the song to Aemond? That's a great question. We don't know if Alice even saw everything that Daemon did, and how much she knows. Probably, yeah. Like, do we think Aemon's going to have mystical weirwood experiences? Not necessarily. I don't know if that's going to be how it goes.
I hope not, guys. I hope not. Damon is supposed to be like this villain who, especially before the show, people were like, he's the worst. He's done all these crimes. Irredeemable. Like, if you're not a feminist, if you like Damon, like, it's crazy the discourse that's happened all these years. And now we kind of see this as how, like, compare like Damon taking Harrenhal and Aemon. Like, not that many people died with with Damon. Like, was it 4 guards in the beginning that he took out? Like, that was nothing. And then he arrives, he sees Simon's not a threat, and he makes the best of his situation. Aemon comes with fire and vitriol. And yes, they are later, I guess, in the arc of the story. Maybe that's why I just answered my own question. But still, like, Aemon, like, you're evil. You're way
Yeah,
worse
no,
than Damon. And
Daemon
when we
goes in
talk
there guns blazing. He
and when
goes
we
in there
talk
guns.
about mad Targaryens, is Aemon ever on that list, or are we only talking about Maegor? Like,
Oh, I put
Aemon might
Aemond
be a
on the
mad
list. Yeah.
Aemon might be a mad Targaryen because if you're worse, more brutal than Daemon, the Rogue Prince, like, no, there's something wrong with you.
Well, so Tim, I want to turn this to you, but I think the difference is primarily age. Like Damon
Yeah.
doesn't need to prove anything. He doesn't hesitate to use ultraviolence, but like he does it a little more strategically. Aemond doesn't have a reputation, and he is got a chip on his shoulder, and he's sort of like wants to show everyone I have the biggest dragon, and I will kill you quickly. And so he doesn't he's yeah, it's somebody that's still trying to prove himself versus somebody who's kind of more confident. There's a big age difference. Like it's like 19 to 49 or something like that. Tim, your thoughts?
Well, first, I just want to point out these comments in the chat where everyone's saying David didn't kill anyone; he just knocked them out. Yeah, the way Batman just knocks, like, shh, he's sleeping. He's just sleeping. No, but yeah. Eamon does. Eamon, like you said, he's coming in there with something to prove, right? And how do you get it? Like, what's a quick way to get a name? I guess commit some atrocities. Word spreads fast when you commit some atrocities.
And the atrocities have only begun. If they're hewing close to the books, the atrocities will carry on into next week. So since we're in the Riverlands, let's just go ahead, like I said, process the fact that we have now heard about the fish feed. It happened. That was, I guess, the battle from last week.
Yeah.
You know, I guess I wish they would do all the battles, but we knew that wasn't going to happen. It probably would not have made sense to do a big fish feed because it would have been the same week or the week after the gullet, which they obviously spent a lot of money and time on. We know they are going to do a big Tumbleton and potentially one other fairly big battle. I'm not sure, but the song is a nice consolation prize. Let's say that. The song was pretty good. I'm going to go back and learn it. They were having a good time. Roddy the Ruin, Oscar Tully, Damon is singing too, like pretty cool. And then we have the genuine reaction, the Matt Smith, Damon acting of like hearing about Jace's death in the middle of all that. That still got me too. That was emotional. That was well done.
No, you're a cheap date, easily impressed. Because you're just happy. Oh, I'm just happy with this. They gave you a music video when you wanted like a battle. See, no, I'll be your
videos.
advocate.
You're the one that rated
I'll
the
be
thing
your
10
lawyer.
out of 10 or whatever you said.
Yeah,
No, but
that is true. You did give it a 10 out of 10.
we deserve a battle every episode. They have the budget for it. What are you guys doing with the money? Like the amount of money they have, they could give us a battle every episode because that's just how the story goes. After this, vroom, like we're going mega speed into the plot. So they could have given us a fish feed. They could have given it to us. I'm sorry.
Well, Matt Smith did kill a lot of people. Matt Damon. Let's just call him Matt Damon. He killed a lot of people in the Red Keep. He definitely did. That was a good. He had his Clockwork Orange milk, and then he did a little of the old ultra violence. And yes, not only was Black Alley Blackwood there singing too, somebody clever in my YouTube comments this week pointed out that Sabbatha Frey and Black Alley Blackwood, Tim, tell me when you get the joke, they're a couple. Black Alley Blackwood and Sabbatha Frey, their couple name could be Black Sabbatha, which sounds a lot like Black Sabbath.
Mm-hmm. Oh, the jokes write themselves.
And George, we've caught George with a lot of music jokes in there, so that is probably not an accident.
Mm.
So the commenter went on to say, War Pigs is kind of fitting to a lot of Ice and Fire. Maybe that's the intention, or maybe it's just a shout out to Black Sabbath. Well, Ozzy eats the head off a bat. Did they go to Harrenhal at all? Can we connect that? Is that... Okay, I'll leave it alone, but that's cool. Yeah, Matt Damon works. Whatever you want to call him, I guess, is fine. Okay, so rest in peace, Simon Strong. We shall never see your like again. Sorry about that.
No, the War Pigs thing, yeah, because Black with Alice Rivers there, so yeah, and generals gathered in their masses, just like witches at black masses. Yeah, War Pigs totally works.
What do you guys think about Missaria being curved? I was surprised she didn't get a ride on that dragon, that Uber X dragon. Like she didn't get a ride.
I don't think that was the image that they were trying to throw off with Rhaenyra and her girlfriend climbing off the dragon. I don't think that's what they wanted. I thought that the scenes with her and Damon were good, though.
Mm-hmm.
They were good. Damon's gotten so much better. He's like grown as an actor just in this show.
I mean, Matt Smith's always been a really good actor, but I do like Damon getting a lot of snide remarks in, and Mysaria is another one, because when Mysaria says, like, remember who's been loyal to you, and it's like, well, those are bold words coming from your husband's ex, and then even Damon, like, glibly points out, like, are you trusting her? You know she's my ex, right? Why are you Are you stupid? Don't trust her.
But that's why it would have been great if Rhaenyra said, last second, Masari, you're coming with me, and puts her on the dragon. Because we have a shot in the
It didn't
first
happen.
season of Masaria getting on the dragon with Damon. They could have mirrored that. Nah. She needs a Master of Whispers, though, because we saw that the Greens not having a good Master of Whispers led to Otto being in the black cells the whole time. You guys are sitting on the castle on top of his head, your dad's head. Come on, Alice. Come on, everybody. They had no Master of Whispers. Rhaenyra should not make that same mistake. And thank you for coming to my TED Talk about that.
Well, in some cases, Damon does value the loyalty of the people under him, such as with the gold cloaks. In other instances, we sort of see him taking stuff for granted and sort of really just talking down to people, like the Dragon Riders. It's like you do need some help to run the kingdom, Damon, but I guess that's one of his shortcomings. There was a good comment a minute ago. What was it? Oh, the bats. Yes. When Vhagar was about to land at Harrenhal, we saw a bunch of bats take off. Like the bats know, like, oh, let's get out of here. Smells like dragon. So Mysaria will eventually get to King's Landing, and they have that conversation was good because you can see like, oh, this is going to be a three-way, drama issue here with Daemon and Mysaria and Rhaenyra in King's Landing.
Thruple.
Yeah, not a good one, really. Maybe if they were all like 15 years younger, that would be the kind of throuple it was. But now this is just going to be a bunch of lying and backstabbing.
It's a very bitter thruple.
Yeah, speaking of lying, we saw Alicent at the beginning giving orders in Helena's name when Helena had no idea that was happening. Of course, she did that last week with Aemond. I made a video about it that HBO copyright claimed for using. I used less than 2 minutes of clips in the video. Excuse me. I guess I'm not important enough to use clips, but it's another topic I'll talk about later maybe. Point is, in the letter, in Alicent's letter that she wrote in Aemond's name and signed Aemond Targaryen that Aemond had no knowledge of, she told the Hightower army to stay put at Tumbleton and that Aemond would be there in 3 days with Vhagar. And that's not happening. That's not a thing. That's something Alicent made up. And that's why when she gave the letter and she's like, the king's orders, and Helena's like, the king? Like, Helena knew something false was happening. That's what was happening. She was giving orders in Aemond's name. She's trying to delay the Hightower army from getting to King's Landing so it won't have to fight against Rhaenyra's dragons and a bunch of Hightowers will get killed. She's hoping to give the King's Landing to Rhaenyra, and then the Hightowers will have to sue for peace, and hopefully we can avoid further bloodshed. It makes sense, according with her plans. So that happened, and we saw, a little bit more lying today, and then she tried to sneak off because, like, she kept some of her deal with Rhaenyra, but she didn't have Aegon. And so I guess she kind of at the last second was like, I don't know if I want to really hang around and see how much Rhaenyra is, impressed with this or not. Maybe we could just escape. Really a desperate move. They didn't have much chance of escaping on foot. Just a desperate little flight at the last second. She didn't see Otto get beheaded, but she walked in and reacted to it. She saw the aftermath on the floor.
Mm-hmm.
That was crazy good, her walking into it. But we're used to her flip-flopping on Rhaenyra, so let's see if this is now an arc to her hating Rhaenyra again.
Well, I guess we're finally breaking away from the whole, like, it's all accidents and it's all misunderstandings. It's like, no. You walk in, and there she is standing right next to the body. You can't, like, talk your way out of this one. You've been caught red-handed. The blood, literally leaving bloody. You are trailing his blood on the way up to the throne.
Yeah. But Rhaenyra was crying a lot, so I think Alicent can be impressed by that. Like, she's sad to do.
I killed your father, but you know what? I'm sorry.
I was emotionally conflicted when I did it, though.
You're totally gonna
I'm not
hate
kidding.
me.
I would feel better, like, as a friend, as a person, like, in order to start my journey of forgiveness, to see you boo-hoo crying about it, I'd be like, oh, okay, I see. He had no choice.
Is that what you're gonna tell your dad before your friend kills him?
What's going on here, Tip?
Even the way you said, I would feel better about it. It's like, yeah, I would feel great if someone killed my dad as long as they were feeling bad about it.
I mean,
Yeah.
yeah,
I'm
it's
just gonna
better
let
than
you two
saying
work
you
this
deserve
out.
it.
We've lost
It's
the
better than saying
conversation.
like you deserved it. I'm gonna do it again. Where's your mom? I'm killing your parent. Like, no, it's better than
Yeah.
the other reaction.
She got on in her casket.
Well, I think the visual symbolism of the scene was clear. The path to the Iron Throne is paved with blood. It's a throne of swords. It's a warlord's throne. You don't take it easily or peacefully, like it takes killing to take it.
Crazy.
And it's, yeah. So, like I said, we didn't see the throne cut her, like literally yet. They probably will do that. That happened in the books, as everyone knows. But the idea was there. Like, how much is it costing you? 2 sons, you just chopped off somebody's head. Like, you know, is this like, how much more is it going to cost?
Yeah.
So,
And the way she sat on the throne was notable because it really showed that the throne is uncomfortable. What they keep saying over and over again. And me, if I sat on the throne, I would have kind of like sat up straight and stuff. But like she was like kind of like this, like trying to find her position. So I thought like there's just been so many little details that make this so realistic. Um, so I like that.
I would cheat if I was the ruler and I had to sit on the Iron Throne. I would get some sort of like Teflon robe, you know, and I would just sort of throw it over the throne, like just like something, man. That thing's treacherous, but that's the point. That's the point. Okay, so let's talk about the Alicent Jasper Wilde attempted
Oh boy.
R-word scene. I kind of felt like this was unnecessary. It wasn't obviously in the book, so it's something that they came up with. Not necessarily just, well, let's talk about it. I mean, Iron Rod is supposed to be the master of laws. He's not exactly the kind of person that would just go and, so let's say it this way. He had leverage because he knew that Rhaenyra had been sleeping with Kristen Cole. So that is a kind of leverage. It's like blackmail that he can use or whatever. And he chooses to use it by assaulting her, I guess, and thinking that she won't cry out because then he could turn her in or something.
I see the value I see in it is it shows like Allison's like descent from being like, remember how we all criticized how she turned the Red Keep into like a, the faith of the seven, like, oh, so she became this like symbol of like purity. Allison is like, oh, doesn't do anything wrong, and she's perfect. She reads her books. Remember how she was scandalized at Rhaenyra ripping a page? Like that was like her reputation, and then she became somebody that bossed Viserys around and was running the realm. Talk about like boss CEO, and then like she was untouchable except just Larys was like the only thing. But now there's that castle's empty. There's no one in King's Landing that she can really boss around. We saw her like struggle to get like some guards on her side, where we know last season that would not be the case. She would whisper and things would kind of happen. And now she's been like drugged down to like the lowest space that you can get to represent like having no security, having nothing at your disposal like to use.
I liked all the dialogue in the scene. I just didn't understand the sexual violence component of it. That didn't really make sense. It made sense that he's confronting her because he also thinks that now she's selling out. She's like, oh, you've been running around, busy, busy. I remember when you were young, you snaked your way into power. Oh, no one could say that you weren't doing what you had to do. Like, that was all really good dialogue. And it was interesting hearing someone throw that at Alicent. I just don't understand from the character motivation point of view,
Well,
and also why they thought we, the audience, needed that. I don't know. It seemed a little off to me.
Jasper
Tim,
has.
your thoughts? Go. I'm sorry.
I
What
just
was
want
that,
to say real,
Nettles?
I just want to say real quick. Jasper has 29 kids. I think that he fathered on 4 wives. Like each wife died from exhaustion from bearing all these kids. So it shows you like he doesn't care about women's bodies.
Is that
Like
true?
I'm
Yeah,
isn't he,
that's why they say
Iron
that he
Rod.
got the name. They say that the name Iron Rod came from how stern he was and his convictions in the law, but Mushroom tells it no, it's because of his job.
Okay,
So
so well, I apologize. I
sexual
retract what I
violence.
said. That I guess it does fit the character. I didn't
Yeah.
know that. I guess I've never thought too deeply about Iron Rod. Okay,
That's what I was.
that's
That's where I was going to go with it
a
because I
lot of
understand like
kids.
Jasper Wilde is kind of even in the book. Oh, and I did bring so for the drinking game. Every time someone says in the book, take a
In
shot.
the book.
But in the book, I get that Jasper Wilde, in both in the show and in the book, he's kind of a nothing character. So I can understand the idea of we got to give him something to do before he goes out, like how Beesbury gets his great moment of like of being the one of saying like, oh, this is treasonous, you're going against your queen, before Cole lays his head down into the table. So I get the idea of giving Jasper a moment before he goes out. I just don't think it had to be that. I don't see the necessity in that. I think him trying to blackmail Allison is enough of a power move to immediately be undone for him before he's just written off.
Allison should have thrown that back in his teeth. Like, how many kids do you have by how many wives? And you're coming at me about what now? Like, yeah, they should have mentioned that. But yeah, okay. Well, I thought it was just sort of a contrived way to make us hate him, so that we'd see his execution as just and not just like, who's that guy again? Rainier's chopping his head off. So they sort of re-villainized the character, I guess. But oh yeah, and of course his last words were, "Tell my wife something something." Like, which one?
Yeah, that's the other thing.
No,
Like
he had them in succession. Like he had one wife, she died from exhaustion from bearing kids. Gets another one, dies from like not a harem.
Well,
Just
still,
one at
but
a
if
time.
you're the
Yeah,
one
that's
carrying the
even worse.
message, you might. Nobody in that room remembers which wife he's on. They're like, wait, all right,
Yeah.
who's he married to?
Yeah.
Go ahead, Tim.
And this is one of the big problems of HBO cutting the seasons from 10 episodes down to 8, is because now we have this whole 2-year gap in between when season 2 ended and season 3 started, where we're getting all of these characters and all the actors playing these characters who have to come back for 1-2 episodes at most before they're killed off, right? And it's like this felt like a cleaning house episode. Like we're really whittling down the numbers as far as cast members come, because now we got to make room because now we got Roddy the Ruin and Black Alley, and now so it's like we got to push out the old to make room for the new, but it seems like very haphazard to be doing it so early in the season, especially coming off the 2-year break, right?
Yeah, I think you're right. And also, people are making the point in the chat. Well, the show only viewers wouldn't know about his wives or his 29 kids or whatever. So it was still a little jarring. Still, though, like, you don't always know who a rapist is going to be, right? Like, it's not always the obvious person. For a woman, sometimes you could potentially be in a situation that's like, oh, this person is a monster and I didn't know, and now I'm at threat. So like that does happen. I feel like we should say that, but I just
want to say,
as far as in the flow of the episode, it felt a little Game of Thrones season 5, let's just say. But
yeah. But think of us as like pop-up videos, like where we're just like sprinkling like a fun fact. Like, yeah, like for the show only viewers, like, yeah, they're not going to know that, but it's just like a little fun fact. It's not like that serious.
Well, so let's talk about the rest of the throne room scene. Dame, we've already talked about some of it, but I felt like the thing to do with Otto is like feed him to the dragon. If you remember Daenerys when she was executing the Tarleys on Game of Thrones, this is different from the books, but she looked powerful when she did that, and she didn't have to swing a sword. She just fed them to her dragon. Rhaenyra feeds someone to her dragon, Vaemond, in the books, who Daemon cut his head off instead. So then they went back in and had Rhaenyra chop somebody's head off. I felt like she should have fed him to the dragon. To me, there was just a lot of moments where, like, basically every moment with Rhaenyra in King's Landing, they portrayed her as shaky. And I just would have liked to seen a little more strength in some of those scenes. That was just my take. I don't want to beat it
why
to.
she doesn't. But you do understand why she doesn't, like, coming off the heels of Jace, right?
Of course, of course.
Because now she's like, okay, like if something like up to this point, if something happened to me, at least there's Jace, who's like old. Jace could be king right now, and we'd be fine, right? But now, who's under Jace? Joffrey. Joffrey's how old on the show? 7. So Rhaenyra's thinking of like she's lost way more than just Jace. Everything has changed, so she's grieving this future she was supposed to have. It's crazy.
Yeah, and I thought that note was well hit. I just wanted to see a little more. Like when she said, "Bring Aegon the Usurper to me," that was cool. I dug that.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, like I said, Daemon killed a lot of people. He really. What's funny is Matt Smith in the interview before the season was like, I think there should be more violence, and there's going to be this year. Like he's like him and Daemon, the characters are blurring together, I think. So as far as Daemon and Rhaenyra moving through the castle, like Daemon is so clearly Rhaenyra's dragon. Like you really get that vibe. She's walking right behind him and he's like striking and killing and she's directing. She's like right behind, like, okay, which way are we going now? It's pretty cool. Yeah.
Yeah, I like it. It's like an example of how both of them can rule. Like she has the good ideas, and when people are like, "But you're a woman," Damon says, "Do it," and then they do it. So her good ideas get implemented, whether you want to respect her as a woman or not. Like it's still gonna get done because we have feminine energy and the masculine energy, like both working its purpose. It's a great duo.
Yeah, definitely better teamwork with Rhaenyra and Daemon. I'm glad they're not going back to like do the same old thing over and over again. Where it's like, oh, they're not working together. It's like, okay, we did that for almost 2 seasons. So I'm glad they're not backtracking there. And we talked about the prophecy scene. That was cool. Yeah, she should have fed Cyrax. Either the Queen's Guard or Otto should have gotten fed to Cyrax. One of them. I'm unhappy with the lack of people being fed to the dragon.
I do think, dude, like, Daemon with Rhaenyra and him like standing behind her, what happens? It's very Sith coded, right? It's like, yes, let the hate flow through you. Like that is sort of the vibe that we're getting. The more that Daemon can steer Rhaenyra into the direction of using violence as a means of securing the throne and getting what it is she wants.
This is when you become queen. Queen for real, I guess.
Yeah.
Wow.
A little bit.
Let's see what else.
A little bit. Both Emma Darcy and Matt Smith are doing a good job of acting Serpentine in various scenes. I've pointed it out a few times, and they managed to pull it off somehow. So I did like the gold cloaks. Kind of funny when Allison barging in to the Dong show there. But when they showed up in the throne room, that was pretty like, here they are. And we got, the book lines. Daemon gave us these cloaks. The rest of it from the books is they're gold no matter which way you turn them. They dropped that part. They should have given us that part, but yeah. There it is. What other scenes do we have here? We got Hugh Hammer's doing a lot of biting his tongue. We don't know what's going on in that noggin right now, but something's cooking in there. We'll have to see.
Yeah. Let him talk to his wife. Can we get like an update? He has a ride. Don't tell me he doesn't have a ride. Don't tell me he doesn't have money for the ship.
We need to see him at least writing letters, I feel like. That's a wrap for season 2. Get ready for 6 episodes of season 3. How did Larys get Otto down there in the dungeons? Guess Marsaria had nothing to do with it. Larys has his ways. I'd have to go back and watch season 2 to see how it happened exactly. How did that happen? Otto was trying to leave King's Landing, right?
No, we saw a picture of we saw something of someone putting him in a box.
Yeah, but right before that, he was leaving King's Landing to go to Highgarden, right? Or to Old Town?
Right. Yeah, then we never heard from him again, and then we saw him in that box.
Yeah, someone just came up to him with a rag and asked him, "Does this smell like chloroform?"
That's all that happened.
Does this smell like chloroform to you? Otto's death reminded me of Damon executing the Bracken kid. Well, I mean, they were both executions. Damon trying to turn Ray into his violent queen. Yeah, and we've seen from the previews of next week, they're going to continue to talk about that. What kind of queen is Rhaenyra? You know, but this is the problem with King Viserys, is that he was never willing to put his foot down ever. And so now Rhaenyra has to try to reintroduce discipline to the Red Keep. And, you know.
Yeah. I think this last scene was like just a great testament to like, I don't want it, like that whole like idea of not wanting the throne but being the one to deserve the throne. Like you can really see how heavy, like she really doesn't want it, but she has to do this because of the prince that was promised. I think she's over it. I think she really would abdicate, but it's the prince that was promised and that's like forcing her. It's like a chain as she's like walking to the throne. It's like a chain being pulled. Like you have no power. You don't have a choice. Your destiny, your choice is being taken from you. Like it was heavy to me, and it's
that
the
was
best way to
always,
show I don't want it.
I was just going to say, that was always like Damon's thing with Viserys. It's like he's always criticizing Viserys, but he doesn't have that burden of responsibility either. He's kind of a loose cannon, and he can be that. So
That's like prophecy is a trap, right? And while some Targaryens will willingly go into it and they'll go running straight for it, like Rhaegar, here we're seeing the opposite end. Here we're seeing someone being drug, like Nettles just pointed out, someone being drugged into it against their will, but they have to see it through. And it's not like, I don't want it. Okay, just abdicate. Here it is. I don't want it. Yeah, well, too bad. You're going to get it.
Yeah.
I did think it was interesting the change. Like first when Laurent Marbrand says, "Oh, you know, my life is forfeited," Rhaenyra's like, "What good will that do?" But after she comes down with her pep talk with Daemon, kind of as an aside, she's like, "Tell him he can just decide how he's going to die." Like we went back on that. We're like, no, actually, he deserves to die. So that was an interesting change.
He wants it. He wants it.
He kind of without honor, you know, without honor at this point. And we saw, was it Rickard Thorne, the Kingsguard in front of the Iron Throne, Tim?
I know, because I remember Allison saying, like, Sir Rickard has betrayed me. I'm getting, like...
Yeah. I don't remember who Rickard was. They name dropped a few Kingsguard names, but...
Because the Kingsguard are, like, so lacking in personality, right? It's really hard to keep track of who's who.
Yeah, Eric and Arik are the only ones besides Kristen Cole that really have gotten any personality development.
And Westerling.
Yeah, which we haven't seen him since season 1, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Do we even know what happened to him? He didn't die.
No, he just said he's waiting for the proper...
He's over in Essos, like Barristan Selmy with a disguise, looking for Dany. Yeah, I don't think we ever did hear about him. That was him in front of the throne? No, that wasn't Westerling.
Because Westerling's name is Harold.
Maybe she's
Harold
saying to Thorne. Richard Thorne. No, I thought it was Rickard Thorne.
Rickard.
Yeah. Okay. Credits say it's Harold Westerling.
Okay.
I thought it was that guy, Sir Frederick, who was at the wall. That was just a stand-in.
He came back. Okay. He came back for Aemond, I guess. King Aemond.
Well, because when the whole thing with the gold cloaks goes down in the book, take a shot. But in the book, when Luther Largent does the whole... We didn't get the full line. We only got part of the line. But when he says the line, like, Daemon gave us these cloaks and they're gold no matter how you turn them. That comes after him killing Gwaine Hightower. But this is completely redone because Gwaine is off near Harrenhal with Kristen Cole. So now we got this stand-in Sir Frederick who's filling the spot of Gwaine Hightower in that moment. When Luther Largent and the Gold Cloaks come and prove that they're still loyal to Daemon.
I like how it was delivered. It was good. Like I said, So, like, a little unbelievable that Daemon would just land with Rhaenyra and literally no ground support. However, it was cool to see them show up and line up and be like, yep, well met. Like, that was kind of cool. So the line worked right there, I thought.
All right. Well, chat's very adamant that it was Sir Rickard. I'll just have to take your word for it because, like I said, I just have to refer to him as Kingsguard number 5 at this point because they're really so hard to keep track of.
They thought the White Cloaks were the red shirts, basically. That's how they're treated. Daemon, we will be the Queen's fist. Yeah, that was a good line. That was cool. Daemon gives good war speeches. They're short and to the point, and they fire people up. Tommy Flanagan just got to drink and sing this week. He's doing pretty well on the show so far. And let's see here. Sir Laurent chose to die in a bed at age 80 with a belly full of wine and a woman's mouth. Ran out of characters. We'll never know what the rest of that comment said. It does show the precarity of the Gold Cloak's loyalty because it's personal loyalty to Daemon, not Rhaenyra and her cause. Yeah, I mean, the loyalties in are patchwork like that in the Seven Kingdoms. They definitely are. Like, you saw that with Helena and Alicent. They technically had the authority, but like these Gold Cloaks have never had the Queen come and give them orders, so they're like, what now? You know, some of that's going to be gender stuff, but some of it is also like there's just not a personal relationship there that's been developed. So, yeah. What other scenes did we have? I feel like we've hit a lot of them already.
We haven't talked about Sheep Stealer.
Oh, yeah.
We have not talked about Sheep Stealer.
Go ahead, Tim.
I feel so bad for Sheep Stealer. Kind of bad for Rhaena. She's getting kicked out of the Vale. But Sheep Stealer, man, he had everything, right? He had the hill. He was happy on his hill. He had the sky above. He had the grass below. He had his sheep. And then in comes this Targaryen princess. And it's like you let your girlfriend move in and you get saddled with all her credit card debt. Right? Now a day later you're getting evicted from the Vale. It's like, I had everything I wanted. And she comes in like, oh, can't we just hang up some curtains? And now she's barking out orders at me while I'm getting kicked out. It's like, woman, I'm doing the best I ever did. I'm doing the best that I can. I'm doing the best I ever did. Now go away.
Yeah. That was what was written in the script. So.
Yeah, Sheep Stealer was living his best life. And then in walked Rhaena. He's like, oh, sure, let's go on a dragon ride. All of a sudden, he's in a naval battle with fiery ballistae being thrown at his neck. And he's like, this sucks. I hate this. Mm-hmm. Then they're back to the Vale. And it's like, oh, great. Now I'm not welcome here. Now, they did come to the agreement where Lady Arryn is like, okay, Lady Jane Arryn, she's like, well, there's a lot of mountains in the Vale, and who knows what happens. But I personally don't want to see you again, which just means like, yeah, go live on some mountain if you want. But like, I can't have dragons coming here because I'm in Defiance and I have a dragon. Like, that's just going to call more trouble down on her head. So that was probably the right decision for Lady Jane. And someone in the chat is saying like, well, Rhaena is now slowly sort of becoming Nettles here at this point.
Yeah. I was so surprised that they buttoned it up for us to let us know that number one, in the prior scene with Bela, that they knew Sheep Stealer by name, which means they know these dragons. I guess Sheep Stealer really did grow up with the other dragons just wild, because for her to be able to just see a dragon in the sky and be able to, oh, that's Sheep Stealer, that means like it kind of shows like more into the lore of like, okay, these kids, like, maybe this is what they study in school, like how to tell the dragons apart.
Yeah, that's consistent with book lore, as I was saying in my little shorts that I put out. Like, Sheep Stealer seems to have hatched from the hatcheries on Dragonstone and then taken to living wild on Dragonstone. In the books, Sheep Stealer has migrated to the Vale, presumably because there's more sheep there. That's the most logical reason. Maybe the cannibal ran him off, who knows. But yes, the Dragon Keepers should be aware of Sheepstealer. Sheepstealer actually has a name in High Valyrian that Rhaena said. It's just translated as Sheepstealer when you put the captions on, but Rhaena says a word. David J. Peterson has, like, this is, I don't know if it's on a behind the scenes or David's blog or whatever, but he's the Valyrian language guy. And yeah, Sheepstealer translated into High Valyrian is a name that Rhaena used for the dragon. So
I got to look it up and learn it. That's a good one. No, but so we've confirmed that they knew it was Sheepstealer. They don't know the rider. So, because we kind of talked about that last week, they don't know the rider. But also, Daemon's saying no one has ever tamed a wild dragon. He was basically saying it's impossible. Like the way his face and mannerisms, like, no one can claim a wild dragon. So, Daemon's about to be impressed when
he's going to be impressed.
Daughter.
Yeah.
He's going to want to talk to her now. Daddy going to come home for Christmas.
But it's going to be laying into a whole bunch of other problems, right? Like, and this is where...
Hey, a connection's a connection.
Well, this is where we're like, maybe we are getting the Nettles story if Nettles ends up being an alias for Rhaena, who's out on the run now. Because when Rhaenyra says that, like, there was another rider, and she's like telling Daemon, and Daemon's like, well, I'm going to find out who it is. And Daemon's phrasing it like, I'll find out who it is and I'll kill him. But then he's going to find out, like, oh, it's my daughter. Oh, crap, it's my daughter. Because now he's going to have to, start taking care of her, right? He's now that's because everyone's asking, like, what if Otto Hightower is down in the Black Cells and it wasn't Mysaria who did it? Like, we got confirmation it was Larys who did it. Really, then, what is Mysaria going to do? Like, what role is she playing? Unless she can start playing up the whole Daemon is covering up for that dragon rider who killed Jace. But then, only tell half the truth. Don't tell her, though, that it's actually Rhaena. Just say that Daemon's run off with the man who killed with the rider who killed your son.
Something like that, yeah, half truth. And of course, Baela seems to know. She seemed to have recognized that it was her sister. She hasn't said anything yet, so that could be a developing plot line. The chat, multiple people in the chat helping me out. Thank you, chat. It's Bieladio, the Sheepstealer. And you can go back and hear Rhaena say that on last week's episode. So that's kind of cool. Mm-hmm. There's one other dragon that David J. Peterson has given us a name for that has like a regular name, and we know the High Valyrian name. I think it's Sea Smoke, actually. But and anyway, that's probably coming. More exploration of Sheepstealer's lore. Daemon's gonna find her at some point. They'll get some version of the book arc that we're not going to talk about, and we probably will get more talk about taming a wild dragon and Sheepstealer's history. So, Sheepstealer is gonna be recurring feature of this season for sure. And yeah, you can't stay. You don't have to. You don't have to go home, but you can't stay here. Exactly.
Yeah, because it seems it just seems like the trajectory they're going in is it seems like all of Daemon's insults are going to come back to bite him. Because we saw it laid out with Alice Rivers. We're seeing the beginnings of it with Ulf and Hugh, and we're seeing it with Mysaria, right? Someone's eventually down the line is going to start taking advantage of the things that he said in the past.
Yeah, Daemon is a little exposed having Mysaria in Rhaenyra's ear for sure. And that was true in the books as well. And yes, I know it was Rhaena that called out, "That's my sister," not Baela. But I did think that Baela gave a look of recognition. We don't know that for sure. That was just my interpretation. So that's still we will see technically if Baela knows or not. But Baela might. It's believable that Baela wouldn't mention that since we know that her sisters, would be in deep doo-doo. So Embrabar is Sea Smoke. Yeah, thank you. Embrabar. That's Sea Smoke. And Moondancer has a name too, they were saying. What's Moondancer? Huililos. That's cool. I will have a video, by the way, coming out not next week, but maybe the week after. That one's going to be the Encyclopedia Draconica with everything that we know about every dragon. It's going to be like a 2-hour video. We've been working on it for several weeks. So we will have all that information in there.
That'll be great.
Mm-hmm.
It's good when you make videos like that you can just kind of refer back to. Like, yeah, I love
No one
those.
had done it. I've seen 2 people in the last 3 weeks make a video about the dragon deaths, but I'm giving you everything about every dragon hatching to death and their names and all kinds of stuff. I figured out some new stuff too. So gonna have Helena's bugs are always telling her important things. Yeah, I don't know what the message of the caterpillar was. We'll have to zoom in and see. Somebody snagged a gif of Silverwing snacking on the not Isle of Faces lakeshore, and somebody was saying, "Oh, Silverwing's eating a green man." I don't think so though.
Mm-hmm.
For me, I think the bug metaphor meant like the timelines are shifting because she said it's not ready yet. So Rhaenyra shouldn't be coming here yet. So we know
right.
She
it's like an omen.
Yeah,
we know she sees things.
It's a different way of saying winter is coming.
Yeah, or like, yeah, maybe she's just seen different futures, and she's like, "Oh no, we're in the bad one."
By the way, if you missed it, this is what I did.
Oh my gosh! Yeah.
So I'll look for the Tumnus one.
Is the same.
But yeah, that was that. I felt like that was similar energy. But yes, there's a lot of Tumnus here. I can see that. A meta reference to Beware the Butterflies. Oh God, that's deep. That's deep. Probably not. The Green Man was Simon Strong in his suit. I like that. Simon Strong is running around in his Green Man suit. It's a sort of spreading tall tales.
But I like seeing Helena. I'd love some Helena in Dreamfire, but her carrying her kid. Oh my gosh.
Yep. It
reminds us. For a second, I thought some bad spoilery things when I saw that child being held, running through a crowd.
So that's going to be Jaehaera, right?
Jaehaera.
Who's like 2 or 3 or something?
That is Jaehaera. That's the only child she has left.
She would have been the same age as Jaehaera. They're twins.
And how old was he?
I don't know. The
young,
show
right?
and book deaths are different.
Young, but not that young. I think they were more like
3 years.
5 or 6.
Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, right. But I'm glad that didn't happen.
We talked about the Velaryon scene. Like I said, I thought it was good. It's a little cathartic. See them all talk and stuff. We had a really brief Kristen Cole sighting, like super brief. They just saw Vhagar fly in and we're like, yeah, it's Vhagar. I guess we can come back and talk about these 2 clowns. So Aegon turned out to have been stabbing somebody with an arrowhead. That's tough. That's ugh. You have to stab them a lot of times. It's kind of like killing somebody with a fork. You know.
Not a fork. Why would you say fork?
Well, it's like you got to hit them a lot of times. It's a grisly way to go out, like a bunch of wounds from a small weapon. Yeah, like a prison shank, exactly.
Yeah.
A fork can become a prison shank. You just got to...
A prison shank, that's crazy.
Anyway.
Oh yeah, there's that scene that everyone saw in the previews. Oh, Aegon's fighting in the front lines. King Aegon. That's what everyone was saying when we saw that clip in the previews. It's like, here's what it was.
So those were some loose Mirish pirates like blown ashore from the battle that had basically turned bandit. Is that who that was?
I would think so because he said triarchy.
Triarchy, yeah, that's what I mean.
They did it. Yeah. They convinced the triarchy, so.
So these are some broken men from the battle, essentially.
Yeah.
And just wandering around causing trouble. And that gave them their chance. And he wants to go to Rook's Rest, Why does he want to go to Rook's Rest? Does he think Sunfire's there?
It's his last known
Ooh.
whereabouts.
Yeah, must be.
He ain't flying nowhere.
See, they should have showed us like a psychic link or something of him waking up from a dream, and it was like through. Well, that's kind of like saying like warging, but kind of like seeing through Sunfire's eyes and seeing where he is. I don't know, something. He seemed to have a nice bond with him.
Yeah, he did say, oh, there's a garrison there. Kristen Cole left a garrison there, but like it's a dangerous road to get there. So they're going out of it's not the safest way to go. So either some vague thing is pulling him there, or he feels Sunfire directly, maybe, yeah. Because that's where Sunfire was.
Yeah, and maybe that's what Helena meant by out of season, something being unexpected. The idea because people probably think that Sunfire is dead. So if he shows up in Rook's Rest, if they somehow, against all odds, make it to Rook's Rest and Sunfire's there, wounded but alive, that would be, that's completely unexpected.
Is he feeling better? I thought he specifically said he wasn't feeling better.
Who? Aegon?
Yeah. They did the whole
Why would he
routine
be
where he's
feeling
like,
better?
oh, you stopped asking for Master of the Pup. He's like, that's because I'm not your friend anymore.
Yeah.
But I guess he did kill somebody, so he's feeling well enough to do that.
He's
No,
just
but
running
those
on
stabs-
pure spite right now.
No, like as an acting thing, those stabs look like it was coming from somebody whose like whole body's hurting, like like at each growth you could see like it was hurting him to stab that guy. He's doing a good job of being. Yeah, this is someone who's crippled for life. He'll never not be in pain.
I definitely love the buddy comedy routine of it. Yeah, they're saying he screamed in pain while stabbing that guy. Yeah, it was hard, but he mustered up the hate. The hate made him strong, and he got through it. So
Pure spite. He is just running on pure spite.
And we mentioned this last week, but it bears mentioning again. You know, Aemond blamed Orwyle for the disappearance, Grand Maester Orwyle. And then we immediately cut from that scene to they're in the Raven cart. And that's the purview of the Maesters. So Orwyle may well have been in on this. And we should remember that when we see him dealing with Rhaenyra in King's Landing going forward. Like, he is probably loyal to Aegon, I'm thinking.
Yeah. He saved Alicent. He didn't have to. He could have listened to a man, Jasper, because Jasper was right. If only he wasn't like assaulting somebody, then it would have, if he didn't do that one thing, these tables would have been different because he would have been able to say, oh, I have receipts. She was here at this time. She's talking to Gold Clothes. She's talking to these people. She went to see Rhaenyra, and like things could look different for Alicent, but
yeah. Well, I mean, Larys, going back to the whole I'm playing both sides, that way I can always come out on top, Orwyle could be doing it too, because Larys is a rat, and we see that with all the rat symbolism that's been happening in the past seasons. But what are the Maesters? Well, in the words of Barbary Dustin, they are great. They're gray rats. Like we tend to think that the Maesters are always going to be loyal to the Hightowers first and foremost, because Old Town, don't bite the hand that feeds, feeds and all that. But when your life is on the line, you might biting the hand that feeds. If that's the thing that's going to get you to live till the next day, you'll do it.
no,
I think that's all right, Tim. I think you're good to remind us that in general they're going to be pro Hightower and skeptical of the people with the most dragons. True, we have some Hightower dragon riders, but you know, things can happen to them. So
you know what? Rats in a cornered rats. What do corner rats do? They lash out.
They tell lies. They lie as fast as they can. But yes, they lash out too. Yeah. So,
but I was grateful for him this episode for coming in to save Alicent, because I hate Alicent, but I was squirming during that scene.
Yeah, that was really chilling. Like I said, I don't think it necessarily belonged to the episode, but like that's a thing, you know, sexual assault happens. And the panicked feeling of someone suddenly being cornered with an unsafe person definitely came across. He was very menacing in that scene. So off with his head. Damon didn't tell my wife that. Like,
No.
no, buddy. We're not gonna tell her anything. Not from you. Did Larry Strong cripple King Aegon's army by imprisoning Otto? I get that he's playing both sides, but he tipped the scales trying to curry favor. I mean, Otto was already out of favor of King's Landing. He had been bounced and replaced by Aegon. And I think that Larry's is trying to be the only one. Thank you, Reading Rhaegar. The only one, the only whisperer in the king's ear. He's trying to have a king that he can manipulate, I think, is the agenda.
So did anyone think that the Lady of the Vale, what's her name, Jane, that she was Daeron at first when she was like riding in on the horse and you couldn't tell? You just saw the hair? I thought it was Daeron. That opening scene?
The Aaron sigil was right there on her back.
There's enough Daeron confusion, Nettles, okay? We don't know what color hair he is. We don't know. If we go back and look, we might be able to tell if the silver-haired kid from next week is the same as the guy we thought was Daeron and it's just a hair change, or if it's a different person. But I do feel like they are trolling us at this point.
Yeah.
Let's see. Okay,
so we got some Neds. We got some Neds of the week, rolling heads.
Yeah, we did Death of the Week. I didn't really think of any other rapid polls to do. Oh yes, thank you. Anyone scope out Cyrax and Caraxes snuggling each other? They kind of were, like they were right up next to each other down in the cave, obviously very comfortable with each other's presence. And I think that makes sense. Silverwing and Vermithor seem to have been a couple basically just adopting the feelings of their riders, Jaehaerys and Alysanne. So
yeah. So who were because there were 4 dragons that I counted going into King's Landing. Who were the other 2? Was it Moondancer and who were the other ones?
It would have been Hugh and Ulf. So Vermithor, Silverwing.
Hugh and Ulf, or Daemon told them to stay behind at Dragonstone.
No, Baela wasn't invited.
No, he told them to fly wide and circle and keep an eye out.
Yeah, it couldn't be Baela. So it would have to be Ulf and Hugh.
It was Vermithor and Silverwing, yeah.
Okay.
I just thought it was cool that Adam was on Sea Smoke out looking for Corlys. That was cool.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So we are caught up here, and I'm ready to go get a hamburger. So I will take a last call for some questions here, and then we will wrap it up. Nettles, what did you rate the episode? Did you say 10 out of 10 or 9 out of 10?
No, I said 9.9.
Okay. Tim, what's your rating?
Same as last. I'll give it 8.5.
I'm going to go with like a 7.25.
Why? What did
because
you want?
I just
they killed Otto. We've been waiting for this whole time.
Yeah.
No, I think I might actually have to give it lower too, because when I think about it,
You didn't. So the burning of Harrenhal means nothing to you.
I think I'm being critical of the most important scene, which is the Rhaenyra stuff. I just wanted to see. We only saw one emotion from her this week, which was just like reluctance and stuff. And I just.
She's mourning. If she was stronger, that would make her a psychopath. All that she went through, the accumulation, nah. You'd have to be a psychopath if you just walk in there and you're just like, this is fun. I can do this. No.
I think the other thing is like some of the stuff, again, it just seems contrived. Like they would not have landed in the Red Keep with no ground troops to support them. And Daemon's like, well, she's got me. And you saw like how quickly that could turn. Like, oh, they showed up with 8 people at once, and now Rhaenyra and Daemon are about to be gutted on the floor of the Red Keep, except for that the Gold Cloaks show up at the last second. And I don't know. It took me out.
Come on, eh?
I mean, I will. To be fair, a lot of my issues are with the pacing, but the pacing problems I can also lay the blame squarely at the foot of HBO. HBO being stingy with the corporate credit card, HBO cutting them down from 10 episodes to 8. The writer's strike obviously did not help. And yeah, having this 2-year gap in between seasons just so that we can bring actors back just for one episode to have them die. Like the feeling just seems like things are being rushed after such a long break in between. But again, I put that as more issues going on behind the scenes, behind closed doors, corporate meddling stuff that's making things off.
I think that's kind of part of what I'm talking about. It was an episode 10 in disguise, so it had this sort of aftermath, wrap-up-y feel. I still think we're going to see King Viserys' corpse eaten by rats, and Rhaenyra's going to have a freak out about that next week. That is still coming, I think. Yeah, I don't know. Well, so let's look at it this way.
They gave us a lot.
Let's think about themes. That's usually what makes me like an episode more after the fact, like on the second watch. I start to notice the themes and the parallels a little more. So we had the thing about the Pyrrhic victory. Obviously, there's a Pyrrhic victory, at the Gullet. Very costly taking of King's Landing. And then Aemond is taken Harrenhal, but Daemon isn't there. So he's just sort of raging into the void and killing Strongs and stuff. It doesn't mean anything. What other, bittersweet victories. What other sort of theme parallel stuff do we have in there?
I got Kill the Boy, like turning a new chapter. Like this is like for Rhaenyra, she had, like literally they had to kill the boy Jace to finally make her become who she needs to be, which is a queen who passes the sentence and swings the sword. Like she needs to, and this is a new Rhaenyra. I think in this, she's supposed to be wearing like armor and stuff. So this is turning the page of a new chapter of a different Rhaenyra. She doesn't have Jace to fall back on. She has to be ruthless now because she can't die because her next heir is like 3 years old, or like 5. So not a teen, not a betrothed man. So I think Kill the Boy just to make it,
Yeah, and I feel like we've seen Joffrey even less, and it's like it's irking me, right? That nobody is asking about the younger kids, right? That neither their mother nor their father seems to be checking in to see, did they make it safely to Pentos? What happened there?
I'm sure they'll address it at some point. They haven't yet, though. No, they have not yet.
I think it's okay. They need to focus on like not messing up. Like they'll tell us about it when it's time, hopefully.
That's why, I don't know. I hate some of Ryan Condal's excuses, like, oh well, it's hard to shoot scenes with kids that young in a scene like this, and it's like, okay, well then why did you age them down?
Right?
That was a decision you made. So why did you complicate things for yourself later on down the line? Do you have no foresight?
Yeah. I kind of agree with you. Like, they didn't have to have them doing stunts in the middle of the sea battle. They could have just been hiding inside a cabin on the boat, and then you see the soldier open the door. Like, they could have done all that in the cabin. They didn't need to have the kid actors out on the high seas or whatever. Like, that's a little bit of a cop-out.
Acknowledgement that they're there. That's all you needed.
It is starting to get long in the tooth that they have not addressed it. I will say that. Tim, Gray Area is in the chat. So I want to say shout out to Gray Area. And if anybody doesn't know, Gray Area has an awesome YouTube channel that she is making a bunch of videos on right now. Lots of good Hot D coverage on Gray Area's channel. So definitely go subscribe to her. We're going to have Gray Area on hopefully later in the season on one of these post-game shows. We are going to work it out. So yeah, they abandoned the gay abandon. Exactly, Summer. It's ironic.
Crazy.
Man, like I said, last call for questions. Anything we didn't cover. I'm looking at the chat here to see if there's anything else you want us to talk about.
I just don't know what you guys want. That's crazy. Just because it's in episode 10 doesn't mean that it can't be good. Game of Thrones 6:10, Game of Thrones 5:10.
I mean, it was still pretty good. I think I just wasn't, I don't know, maybe last week was just so exciting. It's a little bit of a come down, but it wasn't like bad or anything. And I did say the scene with Rhaenyra mourning just Jace was like That was an acting
You
award
open
scene.
with
Like, that
that.
was incredible. It definitely got me.
Yeah, that's like I said. It's pacing problems, but again, like some of that is the showrunner's fault, but a lot of it is the fall of HBO, and it's weird too because HBO seems to be putting all their eggs in the George R. R. Martin basket. They want all these they want all these new shows. They said like a lot of it's gonna depend on how good a Night of the Seven Kingdoms did. Well, Night of the Seven Kingdoms did extremely well, which is why they want to move forward with all these other projects. Yet at the same time, they seem so reluctant to give them the funding they need. And it's like, well, if you want all that, you can't then go all in, right? Because if you want this cash cow, you need to feed it.
Well, I feel like
We'll see.
what's not all in for you?
Like I said, cutting the seasons down by 2 episodes. The fact
Right.
that
Okay.
like the fish feed
Fish
don't be
feed.
ready for latest kill. Fish feed done off screen. Like, no, the fish feed should not be off screen. Yes, we have a happy little song about it to tell us about it, but
The song
Yeah.
slaps. I'm sorry, y'all. I hear you, but the song
You
slaps.
took a music video. You took a music video in place. It could have been a 1-minute sequence.
Yeah.
Like there's
Show.
come on.
Don't tell, show.
Yeah. This was their chance to give us some Tully lore, like fish feed. Like you think of like the Tully sigil of a fish being something like weak, but symbolically you can dive into it on your own, doing your research of just how powerful they are. Something like the fish feed, like that goes hard. That's hardcore. Like, dang, your food for fish, you suck.
So, well, the chat is right. The honey wine didn't even get a mention. It's just gone. There is no Battle of the Honey Wine. At least we got a song about the fish feed. I think it's cool. It's a song to memorialize a battle that we didn't see. Like, it's kind of meta. I don't know.
Sure.
I mean,
I wanted to put some respect on the Tullys.
I'm also just, I'll admit it, I'm super sour that we're not getting Dalton Greyjoy, it seems. I'm never not going to be not.
You never know.
Maybe the redhead kid with Ormond is the Red Kraken. He's only
the
like
redhead.
16, right?
Yeah, it's Melisandre, the redhead.
That's it. There you go, Tim. Just imagine a Greyjoy sigil on a shirt. The fish feed song slapped. I don't
But
care.
yeah, no, I'm good. I feel pumped up. Can't wait to see next episode.
Somebody
According to
mentioned
everyone-
Aemon's cool helmet. That was a very Elric of Melniboné helmet. They a lot of the dragon armor looks very Elric inspired, which is appropriate. So that's dope. The Red Kraken is Ormond Squire. It makes sense if you think about it. No. By the way, my video this week is not going to be a hot dragon breakdown video because they won't let me use the footage, and I'm having a tantrum about that.
no.
And so I'm going to make a video. It's actually already recorded and in the process. The difference between Valyrian and Targaryen dragon lords where it concerns the dragon bond, because there are some big differences that I have found. I think I've had a realization about the Valyrians that I have not heard anyone else say. So I'm going to save it for the video. But yeah, Valyrian versus Targaryen dragon lords. That'll be this Wednesday. We did see the Sapphire Eye. We saw it at Storm's End. Aemon showed it at Storm's End before he killed Luke.
I'm so disappointed in Aemon, but I'm glad he listened to mommy and ran along. He really did.
He was crawling to Alice Rivers. Help me, help me. That is, they're going hard. I think that's going to go hard.
Yeah,
that relationship.
better than her and Damon for sure. Like they better not mess us up. This season has the makings of being amazing. There's like no excuse for how good it could be. They're off to a good start, but keep going.
So actually okay, well, I was going to let one of them go, but now you're spamming it. So I'm going to have to remove you from the channel. But it was cool where we got the Jon Snow vibes with Jace's body, and Sir Marbrand was like, oh, here's the sword, take my life. And she's like, will that bring him back? Will that make him rise? And I was like, yeah, if you do it right, if you say the right words and stuff, like potentially. Where's Melisandre when you need her?
Yeah. Cut his hair, give his body a bath. That'll bring him back.
That's what you do. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
She didn't know the hair clips for men spell. So
Super cuts, yeah.
supercut spell. Yeah, that's it.
No, it was great.
Talk about your
Great to
beef with
see.
HBO. Oh, well, it's real simple. They YouTube allows content creators like it, not me content creators, but the big people like HBO. They allow HBO to claim anything they want. So the law in question is called fair use, and there are guidelines to what fair use means. And basically, it means that if you are commenting on something, I can use footage from a show in order to talk about it, but not so much that it becomes a reasonable substitute for watching the show. So there's a gray area there. And essentially what YouTube does is they allow Warner Brothers HBO to say what they consider to be too much, and it's not fair use. And so we content creators have always been operating in the dark because they don't tell us you can use clips of this much and you can have a total of this much footage and that's okay and this isn't. It's always changing. A gray area, for example, has gone to using nothing but stills a while ago. She doesn't use any clips. Tim, go ahead.
Well, that's what, if you notice in my latest videos, anytime I use show footage, I have that fire border around it. That's not just a stylistic choice. It's because putting a border around it makes it harder for the YouTube scanner bots to pick up on it and flag it.
Some people do stuff like that. For a while, we thought it was like clips less than 10 seconds wouldn't trigger it, and that seemed to be true. But I just got nailed for a bunch of clips that are like 3 seconds long in a video that's only 12 minutes long. And I had less than 2 minutes of footage cumulatively. So it was like, okay, I give up. Like not that I give up on talking about the show, but like I won't use any clips then. And of course, we know that some channels get permission to use as much footage as they want. And not to say anything bad about those channels. I actually like heavy spoilers quite a bit. I also like Alt-Shift-X. But both of those channels are huge and they have permission to use as much footage as they want. But the rest of us cannot. And so essentially it seems like HBO is trying to pick and choose favorites as far as who can talk about the show and who can't. So I don't know. I guess that's what's going on. But the point is, you guys mostly come here for my lore videos. We cover the show pretty well on Sunday nights. So some weeks I might just give you an Ice and Fire video during the week instead of a Hot Dragon video. I don't think anyone's going to complain about that. But yeah, and the other part of it is that I'm hearing that's happening to a lot of creators this year because again, they seem to change what they claim and what they don't periodically. And we just really have no idea. And of course it's frustrating because we're just, keeping the fandom alive over here. And plenty of you have commented that, like, oh, I didn't even know the show was on, except for you guys are talking about it. Or I only watch the show so I can watch your after shows or stuff like that. But I don't know. I don't know why they don't get that. But they don't.
Me neither. That's crazy.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, Alt-Shift-X mentions me from time to time. I know he's watched some of my theories. And yeah, him and Gladys are great. Got nothing bad to say about them. I also don't think that their opinion on the show is like compromised because they have permission from HBO to use the footage. Like, I don't really get that vibe from them. I'm definitely not saying that. I also don't like just throwing vague accusations at people as far as like, oh, people do that to me. They say, oh, you're just shining up the show because you want HBO to invite you to the premiere. It's like, it's the lamest thing ever. Like, if you're on YouTube, it's because you're opinionated and you talk too much. Like, that's how you get here. So
You're trying to get invited to the show. That's crazy. You were already at the premiere.
The season 1 premiere, they invited me, and then I've not been able to, like, they won't give me screeners. I feel like they draw out of a hat as far as who gets screeners. It's really weird.
Yeah.
It's hard to understand. So, anyway.
What else? I feel like there's something I'm forgetting.
Yeah, right. Exactly, Chad. I've heard Alt-Shift be critical of the show too, so I definitely don't think that's like. I don't even know if HBO is making calculations like that. They just picked a couple of the biggest channels and they give them permission to use the footage, and everyone else is kind of out of luck. So the point is, I guess, thank you for watching my channel, even though I don't have access to the footage and I'm not one of the chosen ones. It means that much more that you're here hanging out with us and watching my videos. So thank you. That's the main point. Will we see Brendan Rivers this season? He turns up all the time when you'd least expect him, so you never know.
If only he'd be born already.
There was that line from Alice Rivers to Damon about like an ending and a new beginning and stuff. I know the Damon Three-Eyed Crow people were like, what's she talking about?
Yeah, but now she's mad at him, so who knows where that's gonna go.
Yeah, you're right. We talked about Raina's situation, Paul, in the chat, but mostly not from her perspective, mostly from everybody else's perspective. From Raina's perspective, she must be terrified. She's already been kind of isolated. She found this dragon. She knows Jace is dead now as a result, partially, of her meddling. She feels awful, and she doesn't feel like it's safe to go home now. So she's in a real bind. It's kind of like you borrowed your parents' car and then you like killed somebody. And now you can't come home and you can't go to the police, and you're just like, damn, what do I do?
That's a good comparison.
Accidentally, obviously, but yeah. I never did that. That's not a personal experience thing. Tim, go ahead.
She thought she had a moment there with Jane Eyre, when she said, well, you want a dragon, but Jane basically saw through, like, oh, this dragon that you have absolutely no control over? No, thank you.
Yeah, bring him on in the castle. No.
We're already compromised. I don't need any other collateral damage.
Yeah.
Somebody in the chat wants Alan to grow his hair out. Yeah, he does have the silver hair. Now that he's officially Alan Velaryon, you stop calling him Alan of Hull. Maybe he will, but probably not. I don't know. Do you think Rhaena will team up with Aemond? The Veil denies her. Rhaenyra will deny her due to Jace. No, I don't think so. I can't answer that question like super honestly because I know Fire and Blood. They're probably going to hew close to the Fire and Blood plot line, if you know what that is. But I don't want to spoil anything for people who haven't read it. So
yeah, I put Rhaena on the same tier as Helena. Like, please, like these are like innocent people. Like, look at how evil we saw Aemond was today. Yeah, Rhaena's not teaming up with him. Like, that's not. She's a delicate flower. Even though she's a dragon rider now, she's like, I'm not going to change my personality. I'm just going to give a blank stare and be like, oh, every time. Everyone else gets stronger and more menacing when they have dragons, but not me. I'm just going to be bewildered. But I do like her more.
She needs to go to like Skagos or like Essos or something, you know. But yeah, she's in a tough situation. She is. Yeah, Adam was brief in this episode, but like, you know, like we saw him looking for Corlys, so that was cool. And
that was enough.
Yeah, and he got a name too, obviously. We saw Corlys look over at Adam, but the dialogue was between Alan and Corlys because they're just more connected. But I like to see them all four there. Made me think of when we saw the Valerians roll into the wedding back in season 1.
Yeah.
And to your point, Nettles, a minute ago, yes, it's a big thing about Ice and Fire is that he's criticizing the way that parents use their children as political pawns and pawns in war for these marriage alliances. It's kind of more of a feudalism critique, but yeah, we see over and over again these kids, I mean, in all the books, get thrown into these situations. We think of Quentin and Sansa and, you know,
yeah,
all these, even Rhaegar, like he's 20 and he's trying to babysit his crazy dad, who's the king, and it's sort of come up with a way to smoothly transition power away from a mad king before rebellion springs up. And he obviously failed, but yeah. Rhaena is as much the same. Jace is a little older, but still, yeah, it's tough. It's tough. Bela has been just kind of stalwart. Like, that's been her character. She's basically just stalwart, which is kind of nice because we can't have everybody be just like crazy and a mess and stuff, you know?
Yeah. She's like her mom, kind of.
You're right. Yeah, you're right about that. We did get a queen who never was shout out this week. Bela talking about how much Corliss loved her mom.
Mm-hmm. Still no mushroom. No, just kidding.
Or not her mom. What am I saying? Her grandmother. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry. Lena exists also. I skipped a generation. Doesn't Thailand have quite a large role to play later? Yeah, I guess Thailand could be around still. He does.
The whole point of the whole point of that passage was the water is shallow, and I guess as long as he didn't land on one of the teeth and break his spine like the other guy who got kicked off the boat, he might, if he's able to get his armor off, he can surface.
Yeah, he should be around. You're right. The water is shallow. Even if you sink to the bottom, you can still walk to the... Yeah, it's not. You're right. So he's probably still around. I'm glad we got to see the lion's head again. The lion was a drive-by last time. They did a lot of work, like I said, on the prop lion. So we saw the lion's head when they were singing about the fish feed.
I can't wait to rewatch this episode. It was good.
It's so... I feel like a little bit frantic watching the episode because I, again, don't have the screeners. So I know I've got to do the show afterward, and I'm trying to notice everything. I feel really bad about missing the sheep being tied up. Or what was the other thing? I said it was the Isle of Faces, and there was one shot where you could see that it wasn't. And I'm trying to catch all these things as I watch it. And it is a little bit like, what just happened? So, doing my best. Sometimes there's stuff that comes out on the rewatch, yes. But like I said, I'll have the Valerian versus Targaryen Dragon Lord analysis coming out this week, and probably some more shorts. And yeah, lot to take in. Exactly right. All right, guys. Well, thank you very much for watching and for being with me, Tim and Nettles and mods in the chat. Didn't have too many craze, just that one Jesus guy, really, and that was it. So.
Oh, so future stuff coming out of the Gray Waste. I am still hard at work on my King in Yellow video, and to all those who were telling me to check out From, I have. It's not going to be in the purview of this video because I'm starting from the beginning and it's like 3 seasons in. If anything, I'm probably going to have to do a whole separate video about From later on down the line. But the King in Yellow video is coming along. It's probably going to be my longest scripted video thus far. Also, come to the July 4th, America Day, Freedom Day. I will be sure. I will be doing a stream. I'm actually going. I will be doing a charity stream on July 4th.
Whoa.
Because there has been some brand new news in the world of Conan the Barbarian. So someone in the chat pointed out earlier, Gendy Tordakovsky, who I've talked about being attached to the Nine Voyages show, he is also now in developing a feature-length animated feature for the Conan short story Queen of the Black Coast. So Gendy Tordakovsky, very busy bee at the moment. Along with that, there's also announcements that they're going to be doing a King Conan movie, which is Conan at the end of his life when he can't, old barbarian, can't be the warrior king he is. They will be bringing Arnold Schwarzenegger back, and it's going to continue exactly where the original Conan the Barbarian movie comes in. So bring the original actor back. It's going to be like a whole passing the torch movement. And then finally, the Robert E. Howard Museum. This is what I'm doing the charity stream for. Robert E. Howard, who created Conan the Barbarian, his home in Texas still stands, and it's been converted into a museum. But that house is over a century old. It needs work. The Robert E. Howard Museum is looking for donations so that they can reopen it back to the public. So July 4th, I will be doing a charity stream. All PayPals and Super Chats will be donated to the Robert E. Howard Foundation to save the Howard House. So, and we will be doing a double feature. I'm going to read the Conan story, Queen of the Black Coast, and because of the Gendy Tordakovsky thing, and I'm going to read that Bran McMore story I've been talking about worms of the earth. So come join me on America Day, July 4th. We are going to do a Robert E. Howard double feature picture show with Bran McMorn and Conan the Barbarian.
Okay, there you go.
That sounds dope. I'll be seeing Primus on 4th of July in Napa, but I'll try to catch some of the stream during the day if I can. And you can subscribe to Tim's channel with his link, his name in the description. And that's how you can get a notification for that stream. So there you go.
Woohoo!
All right, folks. Thank you very much. Thanks, Nettles. Thanks, Tim. Thanks, chat. You're the guy from the hamburger train, right? See you guys later.